So for the week, which is what we're looking at right here, consider how the week is going to close. If we can close like this, down like this, where we open next week will become very important. Do we gap down next week? Do we gap up next week? If we gap down, I'll probably look for a small trade to the upside, maybe back into at least 50% of this candle around that 174, 175 area. And if we gap up on Monday, then I'm going to probably look for a short once we break this week's low for a continuation lower. Does that make sense? That'd be my plan. For an example of why, think of this here, where we closed here, and on that Monday, we opened gapped up, and then we broke the previous week's low, and we continued to the downside. So if we open gapped up next week, I'll be looking for a break of the low and then a continuation to the downside. If we open gapped down next week, I'm going to look to get at least 50% of this week's candle in a long move. Because that would imply that we would open, say down here somewhere, and that would be a pretty decent run back up to about 50% of that candle. You like it? I like it. That's my plan. To kind of get a visual on what that would look like, we have it right here where we closed the week there. We opened a new week, gapped down, and we ran back up 50% of the previous week's candle, right? So that would be an example if we gap down, what I'm planning to do. And this would be the example of the plan to go short if we gap up. Cool.